What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and this is the 2019 Oakland Raiders season preview. Let's start at the beginning. The coaching staff pretty much stays the same this offseason, although they do add GM Mike Mayock from NFL Network, a draft guru, a former GM. Solid hire there. The Raiders, John Gruden traded away Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper last season in order to get some good first-round draft picks and rebuild the team around a young core. So Mike Mayock and Gruden head to the draft and they have with 3 first-round picks. So a lot of room for improvement and get younger for the Raiders. So let's look at their picks here. In the first round, they go Clelin Ferrell out of Clemson, defensive end. A little bit of a reach. A lot of people expected them to go Josh Allen or something along those lines there with that pick, but they go Clelin Ferrell out of Clemson. He's going to need a little bit of time to adjust to the NFL game and development, but I think that he's a future solid starting defensive end for the Raiders. Good pick and should help the team in the future. Seems to be a locker room leader type of guy. Also in the first round, they take running back Josh Jacobs out of Alabama. John Gruden was all in on Josh Jacobs for a while heading into the draft, and I predicted that one right. I thought that he was a perfect fit for the Raiders with Marshawn Lynch leaving. And it looks like Josh Jacobs is going to be the bell cow, the workhorse running back for the Raiders for the near future. Also in the first round, safety Jonathan Abram out of Mississippi State, hard-hitting safety, really fits what the Raiders are trying to do, bringing back toughness and leadership. And Jonathan Abram is really going to bring that to this team. Hard-hitting safety really sets the tone for football games, and so I really like that pick. I like all 3 of these first-round picks. And then in the second round, corner Trayvon Mullen out of Clemson. Not a lot of people talking about Trayvon Mullen. This dude, I've prided myself on predicting cornerbacks' future and knowing their skill set and knowing it when I see it. And I was all over Xavier Howard a couple years before his big, highest paid corner contract they just got. Trayvon Mullen, I can see a guy that gets that highest paid corner deal in the future. He's a stud. He's a ball hawk, a great corner, great cover guy. I really like Trayvon Mullen. A future star is what I would label him. So excellent pick in the second round there. They also go Isaiah Johnson in the 4th round out of the University of Houston and Hunter Renfrow in the 5th round out of Clemson. Hunter Renfrow, the Clemson product, played in those back-to-back national championship games. He's a big guy to get. 5th round, a steal, a sleeper. He could really fit in well with this Raiders and be a steal in the draft. I give them an A. Solid draft for the Raiders this year. Mike Mayock with his handprints all over it. Let's look at free agency. They add Antonio Brown, star wide receiver in free agency. Or actually, they traded for Antonio Brown with the Steelers. So, solid solid addition to the Raiders. He's going to really bring explosiveness to that offense. So that's a great get for the Raiders. Also, tackle Trent Brown. The Raiders signed him to a 4-year, $66 million deal. He's the highest paid tackle. They also add safety LaMarcus Joyner. He really fits this team well. I like that move. Kelechi Osemele, guard. Wide receiver Tyrell Williams, excellent get. Linebacker Vontaze Burfict brings toughness and a little bit over the line. And if he's on the field and not suspended, dude is a Receivers, he's one of the last linebackers in the NFL that receivers are worry a little bit in the back of their head going over the middle with a guy like Vontez Burfict there. And then speaking of Antonio Brown, him and Burfict have some history, so it'll be interesting to see how they work together as teammates in Oakland. Also, linebacker Brandon Marshall and guard from the Broncos and guard Richie Incognito. Now, I don't expect Incognito to make it all the way through the preseason, all the way to week 1. I believe he'll get cut. He's just brought in to bring some toughness and to make the other guys actually make the team tougher. I don't see Richie Incognito making any team this year, based on his based on his off season. Horrible off season for Richie Incognito. Couldn't stay out of the news. Just ridiculous actions, and he needs to get himself checked out. They did lose wide receiver Jordy Nelson to retirement. A.J. McCarron is gone, and tackle Donald Penn. Looking at the depth chart here, I mean, Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams are the two wide receivers, and you got J.J. Nelson, Ryan Grant, and Hunter Renfrow. Solid guys, even Dwayne Harris, but solid 5 or 6 guys there for Derek Carr and the Raiders offense to work with. Decent offensive line, a better offensive line. They addressed that, so that should be good for them going forward. Tight end, I mean, who they got at tight end? You got Darren Waller, which, I don't know a lot about Darren Waller. Derek Carrier, he's okay. Luke Wilson, okay. Nothing really stands out at the tight end position. Derek Carr is the quarterback, and he's got to be feeling a little bit of pressure, or at least I would think so, based on since that 1 year where he was an MVP candidate, he hasn't really been the same since. So we'll see if these new weapons can help get Derek Carr back into the MVP talk and help get these Raiders into the playoffs. Mike Glennon's the backup, as well as Nathan Peterman. Man, if Raider fans, if you see Glennon or Peterman on the field at all this year, that's not going to be a good sign. Both those guys are not any good. Mike Glennon, saw him in Chicago and in Tampa Bay, and he had plenty of opportunities to earn a starting job and just couldn't do it. So, we often call him a statue behind the quarterback, or behind the offensive line, just standing there. So, Nathan Peterman, we all know, is a turnover machine. So, you got to definitely hope Derek Carr stays healthy, plays the whole year, and gets back to his MVP form. Looking at the running backs, Josh Jacobs is going to be the guy going forward. They also have Jalen Richard and Doug Martin. Going to defense, Cleveland Farrell, Maurice Hurst, last year's draft pick, Jonathan Hankins at DT, and Arden Key, last year's draft pick out of LSU. I like these good young guys. Cleveland Farrell, Maurice Hurst, Arden Key. Good young line. Going to be fun to watch. Going to the linebackers, Brandon Marshall and Vontez Burfict. Solid. Tahir Whitehead as well on that linebacking core. Man, that's a solid linebacker. I would love that linebacking core. Start Whitehead along with Marshall and Burfict, in my opinion. Go to the corners, Gary and Conley, a big fan out of Georgia. Nevin Lawson brought in free agency. Trayvon Mullen, a draft pick. Darrell Worley. Lamarcus Joyner and Jonathan Abram at the safeties. Carl Joseph, also a safety on that team. So a solid, better than you would expect roster. Now, Daniel Carlson at kicker. That could be something to look for. He really struggled with Minnesota last year. So we'll see if he can turn it around, have a better year with the Raiders. But he was a solid college kicker, so I don't know why not. So that's what the Raiders are looking at. They're improved, but how much better? I think that they're not quite a playoff team yet. I think they've got room to grow. They're in a tough division with the Broncos. They're going to be better. The Chargers are still damn good. The Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes and those weapons. So it's going to be tough to break through the division this year. I got the Raiders going like 7-9 or so, 8-8. Should be a lot better. It's really going to hinge a lot on Derek Carr and his relationship with his weapons. Derek Carr and Antonio Brown, Derek Carr and Tyrell Williams, guys like that. It's going to really hinge on them for his success. Should they have drafted Dwayne Haskins? There was a lot of talk about the Raiders possibly looking at Dwayne Haskins in the draft. A lot of fans are saying Derek Carr's the man. Well, now's the time to show it. Antonio Brown comes in. We all saw the numbers that AB put up with Big Ben Roethlisberger. So if Brown, or Mr. Big Chest as he likes to call himself, if he's going to show out this year, Derek Carr's got to get him the ball, keep him happy, and keep him from being the diva that he's shown before. But I think John Gruden and Mike Mayock are making some good decisions, building a good young Raiders roster, and they're going to be fun to watch for years to come. So looking forward to that. Hope you guys like this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Can't wait for week 1. Training camp in progress. Hall of Fame game kicks off tomorrow night. So football's coming, guys, and I can't wait for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you disagree with anything I had to say, leave it in the comments. Let me know. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.